There are moments in life when the winds seem calm, when the water on the surface of the lake appears still, and when you feel as if nothing could disturb your peace. Yet, beneath that surface, currents are moving, silent, invisible, and dangerous. And if you do not learn to sense them before they rise, they will pull you under without warning. This message is not about fear but about awareness, not about panic but about clarity. It is about seeing what you could not see before, so that you are not taken by surprise when the wave comes. In every life, there are people who bring light, and there are those who carry shadows. Sometimes, the shadow does not come dressed in anger or hostility. It arrives smiling, offering you comfort, pretending to be an ally. They speak words that sound sweet, but they plant seeds that grow into thorns. They promise support, but they quietly drain your energy. And the most dangerous part is not what they do openly. It is what they do in silence, behind the curtain, when you are not watching. You must understand, not every battle is fought on a battlefield. Some battles are fought in the mind, in the heart, in the quiet spaces where trust can either grow or be destroyed. The enemy that will destroy your peace rarely announces their arrival. Instead, they enter softly, they observe and they wait. They learn your weaknesses, your habits, your desires, and then when the time is right, they strike not with a sword, but with words, with doubt, with subtle manipulation. And if you are not grounded, if you are not awake, you will not realize you are under attack until your peace is already gone. Before August 15th, 2025, you must sharpen your vision. These days are not just dates on a calendar, they are markers, moments where decisions will matter more than before. If you are surrounded by those who weaken your clarity, you will not see the path ahead. If you allow the wrong voice into your heart, you will mistake poison for water. This is why you must listen deeply, not only to the words being spoken, but to the energy that carries them. When you meet someone, ask yourself silently, do I feel lighter after speaking with them or heavier? Do I feel inspired or drained? True peace is not something you fight to keep every day. It is something that flows when the people around you walk in alignment with truth. The wrong person, however, will make you doubt that peace even exists. They will keep you chasing it endlessly while they quietly feed off your pursuit. If you are to protect your peace, you must protect your space. If you are to protect your space, you must learn to see the invisible. And if you are to see the invisible, you must first believe that it exists. The warning is clear: there is someone approaching or already near, whose presence will try to reshape your world into one of chaos. The question is, will you see them before they act, or will you only realize it when the silence is already broken? There is a kind of person who does not storm into your life like a thunderclap. They do not break down the door or raise their voice. They slip in quietly, like a shadow at dusk. At first glance, you may even feel their presence is comforting, disarming, or harmless. But it is in this quiet arrival that the greatest danger lies. The silent disruptor is not always someone with open malice. Often they are a master of subtlety, working under the cover of kindness, patience, or false humility. They study you carefully, learning the patterns of your thoughts, your strengths, and your vulnerabilities. They wait for the right moment to plant the first seed of disturbance. To recognize them before they reveal themselves, you must sharpen your perception beyond the surface. Words can be rehearsed, smiles can be crafted, and gestures can be imitated. But energy, the true essence of a person, cannot be faked for long. Pay attention to the way your mind feels after speaking with them. Do you feel lighter, or do you find yourself doubting something you were once sure of? Do you feel motivated, or do you suddenly feel tired, confused, or restless? These small shifts are the earliest signs that someone's presence may be working against your peace. A silent disruptor often masks themselves in shared values or common goals. They will mirror your beliefs to gain your trust, reflect your emotions to appear connected, and offer help in ways that create dependence rather than empowerment. You may notice they give you advice that sounds logical, but subtly steers you away from your own intuition. Their suggestions might carry an invisible weight, as if each choice they propose slowly limits your freedom. They will rarely push too hard. Instead, they guide you gently, so that you do not see the path you are being led down until you are deep into it. One of the most telling signs is inconsistency between their words and their subtle actions. They may speak of loyalty, but are absent in moments when you need them most. They may praise you in private, yet fail to support you when others are present. They may listen to your concerns, but respond with solutions that always benefit them in some way. And though their actions may seem small in isolation, when placed together, a pattern begins to emerge, one where their influence erodes your stability bit by bit. Recognizing the silent disruptor requires stillness within yourself. If your mind is always busy or your life always noisy, their movements will be hidden in the background. But when you create quiet moments and observe without reacting, you begin to see what others cannot. You notice the pauses in their speech, the fleeting expressions on their face, the way their eyes shift when certain topics arise. These are the cracks in the mask, and if you are watching closely enough, they will appear sooner than you expect. Protecting your emotional and spiritual boundaries is not about building walls so high that no one can reach you. It is about knowing where you end and where someone else begins. Your peace is a sacred territory, and not everyone deserves access to it. When you allow anyone to walk freely through your inner world without discernment, you risk letting in those who will take more than they give, leaving you weakened without even realizing it. Boundaries are not selfish. They are acts of preservation, ensuring that what keeps you strong remains untouched by those who seek to drain it. Emotional boundaries begin with self-awareness. You must first understand what uplifts you, what drains you, and what disturbs your balance. Many people tolerate discomfort because they mistake it for kindness, patience, or understanding. They allow repeated behaviors that slowly chip away at their self-worth, thinking it is their duty to endure. But when you repeatedly accept disrespect, manipulation, or subtle control, you are handing over your peace without a fight. Protecting your boundaries means clearly identifying what is unacceptable and refusing to justify or excuse it, no matter how small it seems. Spiritual boundaries are equally vital. They protect the deepest part of you, the beliefs, values, and truths that guide your life. The wrong person will not always challenge these directly. Instead, they may introduce ideas or doubts that seem harmless at first. They may cloak their intentions in friendship, mentorship, or shared experiences, all while slowly shifting your spiritual compass. You must remain vigilant in guarding your inner convictions, ensuring that the voices you allow close to you are those that align with truth and integrity. One of the most powerful tools for maintaining boundaries is learning to say no without guilt. The silent disruptor thrives on hesitation, on your unwillingness to refuse, on your desire to keep the peace at any cost. But true peace is not found in pleasing everyone. It is found in standing firm in what is right for your soul. A boundary is not only spoken, it is lived through consistent action. When someone crosses a line, you address it directly and immediately, not weeks later when the damage has multiplied. You must also protect your time and mental space. Emotional and spiritual intrusions often begin with small demands, unnecessary conversations that leave you unsettled, repeated interruptions that pull you away from your priorities, or subtle attempts to involve you in conflicts that are not yours to solve. Every moment you give to such distractions is energy stolen from your purpose. By being intentional with where you place your attention, you strengthen the walls that keep your peace intact. Boundaries, when upheld, send a clear signal about who you are and what you will tolerate. They repel those who seek to control and attract those who respect your strength. The moment you begin honoring them fully, you change the way the world interacts with you, and you reduce the space where any disruptor can take root. There is a language that exists beyond what is spoken, a communication that flows through tone, expression, movement, and presence. To truly protect your peace, you must learn to hear that language. Words can charm, they can disguise, they can be carefully chosen to create an image that is far from the truth. But the energy behind those words carries a frequency that is harder to hide. When you begin to discern this, you no longer take everything at face value. You start listening with your whole being, not just your ears. Discernment begins with stillness. When your mind is racing or your emotions are clouded, you cannot sense what lies beneath the surface of someone's words. But when you are present, when you allow silence to exist between you and another person, you begin to feel the subtle shifts. You notice if their tone sharpens when certain topics are mentioned. You see if their smile fades too quickly when you share good news. You sense the unspoken tension that appears when your boundaries become firm. These are not accidents, they are signals. Energy reveals intentions long before actions do. A person may say they support you, but if their presence leaves you feeling unsettled or drained, There is a disconnect between their words and their truth. They may claim to care for you, yet their energy feels heavy, as if you are carrying them instead of walking beside them. Sometimes this heaviness comes from jealousy they will never admit, resentment they cannot voice, or manipulation they wish to keep hidden. But your spirit will feel it before your mind can name it. The ability to read energy also means paying attention to patterns over time. One interaction can be misleading, but repeated moments will show you the truth. Do they interrupt you when you speak of your dreams, yet give their full attention when the topic benefits them? Do they appear supportive in public, but express quiet disapproval in private? Do they offer comfort that seems genuine, but is followed by subtle guilt or obligation? Each of these moments carries an energy that speaks louder than any apology or excuse. To strengthen this discernment, you must trust your intuition. It is common to dismiss early warning signs because the person's words seem harmless or their actions are small. But intuition often whispers before it shouts, offering a gentle nudge to step back, slow down, or observe more closely. When you ignore it, you silence your greatest protection. Listening to your inner response is not about being suspicious of everyone. It is about honoring the signals your mind and body give you when something does not align. When you learn to read the energy beneath the words, you begin to see people for who they truly are, not who they present themselves to be. You stop being swayed by charm, by grand gestures, or by carefully crafted stories, and you begin to measure the truth by what you feel, not just by what you hear. Some people do not need to openly attack you to weaken you. They simply need to stay close long enough to drain what keeps you strong. Clarity is one of the first things they target, because when you are confused, you are easier to influence. The wrong person can make you question your own memory, doubt your instincts, and second-guess your decisions, all while appearing as though they are helping you. This is not always done with loud conflict. It is often carried out in quiet conversations, subtle corrections, or gentle persuasion that slowly bends your perspective away from truth. When someone repeatedly makes you feel uncertain about what you know to be right, they are not supporting you. They are reshaping your perception. They may disguise this under the pretense of offering advice or showing concern, but the result is always the same. You walk away feeling less confident than before. Over time, this erosion of self-trust leaves you dependent on their guidance, which gives them control over the direction of your life. Removing those who drain your clarity requires more than noticing their behavior. It demands the courage to step away from it. This can be difficult because such people rarely present themselves as harmful. They may even have moments of kindness or generosity that make you question whether they are truly a problem. This is part of the cycle. They create moments of relief to keep you connected, then resume the quiet draining once your guard is down again. One sign that someone is draining your clarity is that your thoughts feel more chaotic after interacting with them. You may replay conversations in your mind, trying to understand why something they said feels unsettling. You may notice that your priorities shift after their influence, not because you have grown, but because they have subtly redirected your focus to align with their interests. This confusion is a tool. It keeps you from acting decisively, which allows them to maintain their influence without resistance. To protect your clarity, you must learn to evaluate relationships by the effect they have on your mental and emotional state. Do you feel grounded and sure of yourself after spending time with them? Or do you feel disoriented and unsure? Do their words inspire you to think more clearly, or do they leave you tangled in doubts you did not have before? These questions help you separate those who strengthen you from those who weaken you. The process of removing such influences often requires emotional strength because it may mean distancing yourself from people you have known for years or those who hold a position of trust in your life. Yet, the cost of keeping them close is far greater than the discomfort of letting them go. Clarity is your compass, and without it, every step becomes uncertain. The wrong person knows this, which is why they aim to cloud your vision before they try to control your path. Awareness is not something that appears in an instant. It is built through consistent observation, reflection, and the willingness to see things as they are, not as you wish them to be. As the days move toward August 4-15, 2025, the need for heightened awareness becomes even more urgent. These moments ahead are not just points in time. They are thresholds where choices will carry greater weight and consequences will arrive more quickly. If you move into them unaware, You will be reacting to events instead of preparing for them. Awareness begins with paying attention to the small details that others overlook. The way someone changes their tone when speaking about certain topics, the patterns in their behavior over time, the inconsistencies between what they say and what they do. These are threads that, when pulled together, reveal the true fabric of a person's intentions. Too often, people ignore these small signs because they seem insignificant in isolation, but it is in these fragments that the truth hides. Strengthening your awareness also means being honest with yourself about your vulnerabilities. The wrong person will always find their way to the soft spots you refuse to acknowledge. If you are hungry for approval, they will feed you just enough to keep you coming back. If you fear being alone, they will position themselves as your only constant. If you avoid confrontation, they will take advantage of your silence. When you understand your own weaknesses, you close the doors they would otherwise use to enter your life unnoticed. In the days leading up to these critical dates, awareness requires slowing down. The fast pace of life blurs the signs that could protect you. When you move too quickly, you respond on habit rather than discernment, and that leaves space for manipulation to thrive. By creating moments of stillness, whether through solitude, reflection, or prayer, you give yourself the clarity to recognize when something or someone does not belong in your path. It is also important to pay attention to how your environment changes when certain people enter it. Does the atmosphere feel lighter or heavier? Do your conversations become filled with hope and direction, or do they drift into confusion and distraction? The energy shift in a room is often the earliest sign of an influence that will either build you up or break you down. Awareness means not dismissing those feelings as coincidence, but treating them as data worth considering. As you approach the days that lie ahead, each interaction, each decision, and each relationship must be examined with sharper vision. The wrong person does not always arrive with chaos in their hands. They may come offering help, comfort, or opportunity. But without the discipline of awareness, you may welcome them into the very space that was meant to remain protected. These moments before August are the time to strengthen your ability to see beyond appearances, so that when the test arrives, you are already standing on solid ground,